Hi everyone, you're listening to Scaling DevTools. I'm joined today by Sunil from Cloudflare, who's also the founder of PartyKit, was on the core React team, and we go deep into AI agents, Cloudflare, the acquisition by Cloudflare. Sunil's great. Enjoy the episode. You're pretty much all in on agents now.
That's right. Agents is my thing. That's the jam. I can go into the why and how. Like, I have a philosophy around it that I think, well, I don't think it's unique, but the way I like explaining it is that I bring a real 9 to 5 energy to the space. Like, it's very boring the way I think about AI agents, while everyone else is talking about like replacing programmers or like 10x or this thing. I'm like, no, man, like, how are people in banks going to use AI agents? Like, that's what I like care about. That's the thing that I want to like get to. Like, my life is, I noticed this as a pattern in my life and my career. Like, my job is making technology accessible to stupid people because I'm stupid. Like, if I can't understand it, I can't do anything about it. That's why I loved React so much. I was like, this tech is made for stupid people, like 100%. And that's why like I became a name in the React community. Like, it was a lot of fun. I don't know if you talk to old school React heads, which is very weird to say in technology space. So React launched in like 2013, and it launched like really, really poorly. Like, it pissed off everyone. People were like really mad at Facebook. If you watch the original announcement speech, Tom Occhino and Jordan Walker giving it at JSConf US, people are walking out during the talk. Like, they're that mad because they're saying, oh, we've decided to use XML and JavaScript. It's effectively a new language. You can see people walking out. And it's weird because you can recognize some of the people walking out because a couple of years later, they become the biggest fans of React and do a whole bunch of open source around it.
Really?
Okay, fine, I get it now, etc., etc. So between, let's say, 2015 to 2018 was like the golden age of React, what we like to call the golden age of React. I might annoy people by saying that, but it was fun because there was a lot of money flowing for like conferences, etc. So there was like a amazing conference circuit like across the world. So we ended up becoming friends with everyone we started overlapping with. Like, you'd meet like 6 people here, 8 people there, and finally there's like a community. And at the time, because it was like new tech, a lot of the talks were about like invention. Hey, I learned this new way of doing this thing with React. There's a new pattern, render props, this, that. Here's how you do styling in a completely different way. That pissed off like a lot. I got death threats for that. I was involved in the CSS and JS community. Yeah, I had people in my
Death threats?
DMs telling me, hey, if you ever show up in so-and-so city, then you might not make it out alive and shit. I was like, bro, I wrote a CSS library. This is the stupidest response.
That is the stupidest thing ever to make a death threat about.
Oh my God. Oh, and a couple of them were like big names in the community. I'm saving those names for my memoirs, by the way. Like, that's my retirement.
I wish I was gonna say wish I had a Patreon. We could be like, find out who they are.
Oh no, I keep an eye on them. They don't do anything now anyway. I wish I could at least like tell you which like company, etc. they were like from. Like, they just hated the work that we were doing in React, Google, and it was particularly interesting time. Anyway, so it was like super innovative. We were meeting all these people, and that's what I said. Like, React was made for stupid people to like innovate and do something. Finally, you didn't have to be a very good programmer to build very good websites. That's what like accessible technology really does, right? Like, it's an amplifier. You don't have to have opinions on functional programming and monads. And like, React took all of that. It was just like, hey, bro, like, write your HTML and events, and here's NPM. A whole bunch of things happened at the time. The rise of like Babel.js, so like modern JavaScript came along. Modern JavaScript. It's like 10 years old. It's nothing. And a whole bunch of like open source people. So in that space, like, I made like a name. I mentioned this because I'm not so much a front-end guy anymore, even though I spent so many years doing that. When I joined Cloudflare in 21, I knew something special was going on with like edge compute. I was like, okay, like, this is fundamentally different than your AWS, your other hyperscalers, or even like VPN companies. And the way that happens is that you speak to people from the company. Like durable objects the beta was announced in 2021. No, in August of 2020, right? Like in the middle of the pandemic. I think like we were just getting signs that there's going to be a vaccine and things were like starting to look up and stuff. And I saw durable objects. I was like, I've never seen anything like this. I started asking them for access. And even at the time, they were all extremely online. I didn't even know Cloudflare was like as big a company or whatever it is at the time. So Rita Kozlov, love her. She's amazing. And she's been my friend like through all of this. She got me access to durable objects. I started using it and I started complaining about how the DX is. And we recollect it in different ways, but the consensus is that Rita basically, after speaking to them like for a month, 2 months, Rita DM'd being like, are you just going to keep complaining about it or do you want a job to come fix it? And I was like, okay, like that's what we're going to do. I went and rewrote their CLI from scratch, like the Cloudflare CLI. It was it's one of the few projects that is a rewrite from Rust to TypeScript, whereas the rest of the industry does it in the opposite direction. And that went like really well. Anyway, point being, you speak to people inside Cloudflare and you realize not just that the technology is different, but also the people are different, the way they think about it. I think that comes like from the way the founders think, like Matthew Prince and Michelle Zatlin, amazing people. They play the long game. You look at Cloudflare as a company that ships so much, which by the way, like it feels like we're shipping faster nowadays. We were just talking about it at dinner yesterday. Like we're like, how are we doing this? And we're like, no, we always had the capacity to ship. I think we're just doing a better job of telling the story. And it's why if you follow me and Cloudflare employees, your timeline just gets Cloudflare stuff like nonstop. But internally, we think about it as a long-term thing. Cloudflare is a fairly successful, publicly traded company. Like we have like amazing customers across the planet, crazy amount of petabytes of data on the network, all of that. Which means that we are not really in the, we need to figure out a revenue buster. No, like we are actually like in the solution business. What is a unique way of using this planetary computer that they've set together? And what is like your moonshot idea and how do you work backwards from that? That's how Cloudflare workers happen. I think you were asking me that Cloudflare is good at making like small acquisitions, right? And we'll talk about that in a little more detail. But in about 7-8 years ago, I actually don't know the timeline. Cloudflare acquired a small company called Sandstorm. This is back when Cloudflare was still effectively a CDN and a security company. You protect your website by putting Cloudflare in front of it. And it acquired a person by the name of Kenton Verda. Kenton comes in, looks around, does a little bit of work, and then he's like, okay, I need to disappear for 3 months. You can talk to me via... This story might not be true. It's my thoughts after all. But I like believing that it's true. Where he said, you can contact me through my EM and PM. They are the only people I talk to, but don't talk to me for like 3 months. By the way, this is unheard of. You don't get to do this kind of thing in Cloudflare anymore, like disappear for 3 months and do something. But which is why I think the story is also, but he shows up and he's like, we are going to build Cloudflare workers. All these things that we have for CDN, we are going to run JavaScript on them, which is very different from a company like AWS that builds massive data centers to run their thing. They're like, no, that means like you have just a few data centers. No, we are going to take this. At the time, it might have been 100 cities. I think now it's like 300 plus cities and like some number between 10 to 15,000 POPs. We are going to run JavaScript on all of them. That means the JavaScript is going to run like 10 to 20 milliseconds away from a human on average, which is unheard of. This is how we are going to scale it. Apparently, he had the idea for durable objects back then. He was like, yeah, and by the way, this plan takes 5 to 10 years to do. Everyone's like, okay. He's like, no, first we are going to do it by shipping it as a thing that you can put in front of your website for middleware, change headers on the website. Then we're going to ship this, then we're going to ship this, then we're going to ship this. And you see this way of thinking like with a lot of things. Like Rita is also a person who'll write down a memo, and I go back to her old memos a lot now, by the way. I find it in the wiki, where she's like, hey, like, this is where the world is headed. This is where we want to be as a company and as a technology and as a solution. Working backwards from it, this is what we can do. The reason I've been telling you all of this is to get to the point of like agents.
This episode is brought to you by WorkOS. If you're building a dev tool, at some point your customers are going to start asking you for enterprise features. WorkOS offers you single sign-on, skim provisioning, and audit logs out the box. WorkOS is trusted by Perplexity and Vercel, as well as Workbrew, a homebrew management startup that I recently interviewed. I just told Mike that WorkOS is the sponsor, and this is what Mike said.
Yeah, so WorkOS isn't paying me any money for this. I pay WorkOS money for this, but WorkOS is like one of the best developer tools I've like ever used. It's the documentation and the experience with building with them is so good. Like I initially was almost like, okay, this seems expensive, but then I built an integration with them in about 20 minutes that I had spent 2 days bang my head off the wall trying to build it directly with Okta. And then with WorkOS, I then have like many SSO providers like supported instead of just one. So yeah, like for me, WorkOS is one of the nicest developer experiences I've encountered in the last like 5 years, probably. And it's not surprising because a bunch of the developer team are ex-GitHub and therefore very good at their job.
Go to workos.com to learn more.
Okay, I'm going to tell you my theory of agents, my 9 to 5 boring theory of why AI agents are a big deal. Okay. It's about business process automation. It's the most boring ass phrase that you've probably had anyone say in Europe. No, business process automation. Let's talk about it. Like commerce and capitalism kind of make the world turn around, go round, right? What is a business? What exactly is, and it doesn't matter whether you're a software company, hardware company, retail, hospitality, whatever. You basically construct a machine made of people, software, and some hardware into which you put like $1 and it spits out $2. This is the simplest way of like thinking about it. And the inputs to this are customers into your website. They fill in a form and they add things into their cart and they buy things and you send them and you take payments from them. It's market conditions. It affects your stock value. There are all these inputs that go into the company. They can be in a structured format or unstructured format. Inside the company, people convert it from one format to another, right? Like they send out emails to each other or they work on like databases. They generate reports. They do a bunch of things, analysis. The database, they have inventory management. And that ends up with outputs like products and software. And then like it feeds back into itself. You analyze it. There are 3 things that LLMs are amazing at. Converting unstructured data to structured data, like taking like normal text and generating JSON from it. Converting from different types of data formats, from one shape of JSON to another shape of JSON, whatever. And then converting structured data back to unstructured data. Generating a report looking at an Excel sheet. Have they ever made a technology more well-suited to automate the shit out of everything that happens? Like things that humans have to do, like 60-70% of work that humans have to do, they don't have to. You can do it way more accurately the moment models get good enough, and they're starting to get really good. You can tell. They can work through the night. Like you can like keep them going all the time, and you can actually have humans do like meaningful work instead of checking someone else's work or forgetting a zero when they fill in a spreadsheet and copy numbers over. I keep hearing the Citibank. Do you know about this? Some dude lost like $14 million because he put the wrong number of zeros and stuff. Like LLMs actually won't do that soon and with the right controls. Point being, in a world where this is how businesses are and are so well primed to be taken over by LLM technology, the way that's going to happen is what we call AI agents. These things that can just run in the background when inputs come in, convert from one way to another, do very basic customer support, check market conditions and send reports to the right numbers of people, all of that jazz. You want these things to be running on computers extremely close to you that are very, very resilient, that you can write JavaScript on. And ideally a company that's already spent 10 years obsessing over security. This is why AI agents is a big deal. This is why it's a big deal, I think, like for Cloudflare. And magically, over the last 5-6 years, we have built the technology that can take advantage of this. Like I keep talking about durable objects as like game changer tech. It's at some point Kenton's going to listen to this and he'll be mad at me that I said it. Worst named technology on the planet, but the best technology on the planet. Like it's so good. The idea is that serverless technology is how we think about servers and computers right now. And a serverless function is something that takes a request, looks at a database to get some user information, some session data, etc., gives you a response object, and then forgets everything. I call it goldfish technology, right? Like every 3 seconds, it has to reconstruct the planet like from scratch. Durable objects don't do that. Like the moment you spin up something with a name or an ID, it sticks around. Not only does it stick around, it can keep working even when like your browser's not connected or anything. And you can run JavaScript in it that runs on alarms or inputs or webhooks or whatever it is. It's like having a VPS or like a VM, but it can start up instantly. And when I say instantly, I mean like 0 milliseconds. It's alive. You can connect to it with WebSockets. And when you're not using it, it goes back to sleep. And unlike VMs or VPSs, which are like so expensive, etc., no, these things are cheap. You can have like millions. If I understand right, there is at least one customer that spins up trillions of these objects. Trillions with a T. Because I can't confirm off the top of my head which exact customer it is, I can't like think. But no, like I say trillions, but it's actually not meant to be as impressive as it sounds. You do trillions of function calls when you run these things anyway. So it's as cheap and as easy to spin these things up as it is to do a function. So in a space like that, where this technology runs all the time in the background, how it's inevitable that AI agents like just take over this space. And like that's why we are trying to move so quickly. The other thing, which is, I was explaining this to you, which is working in Cloudflare is an exercise in being comfortable with never shipping a finished version of anything. Like I said, you're never going to be given 3 months to think about something where no one is allowed to talk to you, and only Kenton gets to do that. And again, I think that story is bullshit. But we were thinking about AI agents like for a while in the background, and we were doing like a whole I did some writing on my blog. I don't mean to be that guy who says like read my blog, but you should read my blog. And we were doing a whole bunch of experiments. And at one point, a lot of our customers started asking, hey, I see everyone's talking about AI agents. Do you folks have, what can I do AI agents on Cloudflare? And we had that like, should we wait for 3 months while we build like a full end-to-end solution thing? Or should we do it the way that Cloudflare does it? Ship something really small, but polished enough and something useful enough for an interesting set of use cases, and then iterate like in public. And we did that. Like I don't usually grind so much at my age anymore, but I do work like so hard. And in like 2-3 weeks, I want to say 2 weeks actually. First week, we built out all the moving pieces, got it working, showed everyone internally. And in the next week, we built out like, and when I say we, it was like Matt Serverlock, Rita Kozlov, Brendan, or like there were a lot of people involved in this, just so we're clear. The website, docs, examples, etc., all just came together. And we shipped it, and it landed like really well. And when I say landed well, because I'm the egocentric human being that I am, like for me, Twitter validation is like what matters. And while a bunch of people like my tweets about this, it turns out in the background, way more people are enjoying this. The most common story is a customer will come up to us and say, yo, we saw your AI agent's email that you sent out. So we gave it to like a junior engineer to say, hey, what can you do with this? And 24 hours later, they come back with, I have a full chat agent that's connected to our data sources that we can like chat with and do things. And it works. Oh, here's a URL. You can use it like right now.
Yeah.
This is amazing. Can we talk to you more? What else can we do about this?
What are the key things that people are commonly needing for agents?
So right now, right now, the common use cases are simply, instead of waiting for a team with a product design, a product person, design person, and a small engineering team to build a website that can analyze some data or spin some stuff up. Like a couple of fintech companies use this, like, hey, we need a dashboard and something that generates reports. And that's like a 3-month project or 6 week. No, they're just like, hey, like add it as a couple of tools to the AI chat agent that we have. Add a little bit of logic that spits out a chart. And yeah, it works. Like that's the universal interface. So right now, a lot of the, I see a lot of people using these agents, building interfaces to make sense of like their data and the systems that they have, in very like lightweight ways. They don't actually want you to build like a whole website and like over engineer a thing. If this works, it works. The other thing that the reason that Cloudflare agents are good is because it's very easy to attach UIs to them, not just chat UIs, but any kinds of UIs. Durable objects can literally host complete websites. Oh, I forgot to mention this, right? Like, well, I made a startup called like PartyKit, which was built on like real-time technology and building like interactive UIs and multiplayer and all of that. And that's what powers AI agents. We need to talk about that acquisition angle again. Like, make sure we don't forget it. So it turns out building UIs on top of a Cloudflare AI agents is like really fast. Like it's a thing that you can do like really, really quickly, whether it's chat or something else. Someone showed me a fake Linux terminal that they've built on top of the Cloudflare agents SDK. It's kind of amazing. They receive emails as text files in this fake computer. I can't wait to share that.
And it's because it sticks around. You can serve websites, and then you can also like do the work as well.
Yeah. A thing that a bunch of other agent framework companies or products, they miss right now is the problem isn't so much the code or the JavaScript, because there are a lot of agent frameworks, etc. Right? It's the end-to-end story, including the infrastructure. So for example, if you needed to do real-time and WebSockets right now, no serverless solution like gets you there. You have to literally get a bunch of VMs or VPSs and like host so that you can do WebSockets well. Now that means
Maintain
you need
all
to
the
do readers.
connections.
Like there's just so much to.
And that was what you were solving with PartyKit.
With
right?
PartyKit, exactly. And I was just like, no, it's like a npm install with like durable objects. Like it works out of the box. With durable objects, you get like real-time interactive streaming stuff. Like, I mean, when I say out of the box, I mean like that's the USP. It does that like really well. And it scales horizontally across the planet. So otherwise, if you're like in a big company, you can't solve the real-time thing by putting everything in US East 1. Because then your users in Europe are going to struggle. The ones in India are going to struggle. The users in China are going to struggle. No, Cloudflare, durable objects across the planet. The thing about durable objects is they instantiate closest to you, just like a regular worker. Which means the AI agent I'm talking to is 10 to 20 milliseconds away in London when I spin it up. Oh, I just love that tech. So it's fast, it's instantaneous. Like you can put two devices next to each other and they're synchronized. So Cloudflare agents takes care of all the infrastructure things magically for you, because Workers is this crazy tech with durable objects and stuff. And then running the code is, when I say it's easy for a junior developer to take care of, this is what I mean by dumb technology, by the way. It's not because I solved a lot of hard problems in building the library. It's just that I made it more accessible of telling a story around it. The word durable object means nothing to nobody. But you say, no, it's an agent container and you can host a chat agent in it. Here is where you put your React app. Here is where you write code for what happens when a message comes in, a chat message comes in. Here's a tools file where you can connect your database and your Notion and your internal linear, all of that. Just copy paste this, dump it in it. And they do that and it works. And they're like, oh, like it works. Like we're kind of done. So this isn't about, this is what I mean when I say like the Cloudflare people like kind of like think differently. And I just count myself lucky to be like included in that group sometimes. It's very good, boring tech, and I want to do the exact same thing to like AI agents right now. Well, There's a lot of hype in the market right now. And I hate AI thread boys who are like, wow, Google launched Gemini 6. Dude, I don't even know model names anymore. Like, there are just too many stupid names out there. Everything's changed. Here's 12 things you should know. Sorry, that's not how I can even think about technology. No, the thing that matters to me is, hey, you're a 9 to 5 developer. You have users. Here's how you can build a thing that makes just some things easier for your users and customers.
Yeah.
They like it. Our durable objects, another thing that I really like is that they have scheduling built in. And you might have heard this meme about AI agents being spicy cron jobs. That's all they are. But we have spicy cron jobs like inbuilt into the thing. You can tell it, hey, every Friday evening at 9 p.m., check the Japanese stock market is called Nikkei. Is that right? Check it and summarize the top headlines and send it as an email to me. And like, yes, sir, thank you. We have scheduled it every Friday, 9 p.m. We're going to make these API requests magically in the backend to you, generate a thing, send it to your email.
Yeah.
It's nice.
And I was looking at your quick start it seems like you're putting a lot of time into that, into like the kind of quick start.
Yeah, we did a bunch of effort around it. When I say a lot of effort, we still need to do 99% more. Like, there's a lot of work we need to put into that.
Yeah.
But people usually start with that right now because it's the easiest, most visceral way of getting started with an AI agent.
Yeah.
It's basically a chat UI that we built there.
Yeah, I was going to say, so you've got this like, it's like this chat UI, and when you run it, it's like chat GPT essentially. Like, you can kind of just ask it stuff, and then you can add, I think you've got like a function for like the weather, and you kind of add your own functions.
That's right. In that tools.ts file, you add all the things that you need to connect to. And the story there has gotten super interesting in the last 3 weeks because now MCP is a thing.
Yeah.
Model Context Protocol. I swear, in the AI world, like the worse the name is, the more better a chance that it's going to, like Chat GPT. That's just I can't believe that's a consumer product. Can you imagine? I think they were surprised as well. From what I understand,
it wasn't expected.
They didn't expect it to do it well. But yeah, you can build your own little chat GPT experience. In the last 3 weeks, MCP has become a thing where this is another thing. I didn't actually expect Cloudflare to do so well in the MCP space.
Yeah.
Because as technology, it's not something you can own, right? Like, it's just a standard. It's a protocol. But because of the way MCP right now requires like a persistent connection, and like there was a story around how do you do auth and stuff, it turns out durable objects are a crazy good fit for that as well.
Yeah.
And we saw it, we were like, okay, I guess we're like leaning into this, like we're doing it more. The nice thing, but the way I think about MCP is you can now, and this is going to be the experience within the next couple of weeks, just watch. You will be able to add MCP servers dynamically to an app without doing any software deploys. What that means is there's a world where, and MCP translates to tools, the tools.ts file, where right now you still as a developer need to write code. Instead, there's an experience where you will say, hey, what are interesting MCPs I can add into this chat here? Like, you will ask the chat, what are interesting MCPs you can add? Or you will say, hey, could you add an integration for Gmail? Like, yes, absolutely. Here's the button for you to log in. Now I magically have access to your email. Zero code deploys. And every company is coming out with an MCP server right now. PayPal built their production version in like 2 days. Shout out to Hemant. Like, I spoke to him. He saw our thing. He built it in 2 days. Even we were like, wow, you moved fast for PayPal. Like, cool. Like, we didn't expect that to happen at all. David Kramer, Zieg, he just built the Sentry MCP, again, like on Cloudflare. He was like complaining a lot about it, and I love that, by the way. Only passionate people give you like good feedback.
Yeah.
So complaining, and then he was like, yeah, I did it, it shipped, it works. Here's the code. And it was awesome. So now, in a world where every SaaS company has a publicly facing remote MCP is what they call it, but these MCP servers, and you have all these chat clients that can add it dynamically. I don't want to say it's like game over, but that's like most software now. Like things are going to get interesting really quickly. Bro, everything's moving so fast, man. Like every 2 days, like there's like new things happening. Anyway, so so the chat agent is like a thing that I think we're going to invest a lot more time in. Right now, I'll be honest, I feel like it's actually quite bare bones. It's literally just a text box and like messages. You want sessions, you want images, you want generative UI. You want a way to like almost debug, hey, show me which tasks are scheduled, etc., etc. We should have a first-class auth solution, so you should be able to add like login to it like really quickly. But it looks like chat is going to dominate as the UI of choice for these things like for a long time. I know there are people who want it to be different, but it's just humans love this.
Yeah.
I think what another thing we will do is we'll make it multimodal, which is we'll make it easy for you to talk to it. I think I don't know if you noticed today, Cloudflare announced something called Real-Time Kit.
I didn't see that actually.
Yeah. So we have had this WebRTC infrastructure solution called Cloudflare Calls for a while. But today we announced it's a closed beta, which by the way, I hate closed betas, but this is just Cloudflare way of doing it. We'll start with some early customers and then we'll do a public beta. It's WebRTC infrastructure in the Cloudflare way. So WebRTC right now, if you do it naively, you'll be able to do 5 to 10 people in a shared session. Cloudflare lets you put like 10,000 people listening to like a shared session. We can do that and like dirt cheap. It doesn't break the bank. But we also announced at least a whole bunch of front-end components to build these apps together. So like if you want to stitch together your own Zoom, like, oh, here are like avatar things, little video things. Here's the thing for like choosing which camera you have, etc., etc. Stitch it together, put it all together. And I can't wait to take all of that and chuck it into my AI agent thing now. Because you can imagine like collaborative sessions with an AI agent, right? Like if you think about it, all these chat AI assistants right now, ChatGPT, Claude, etc., they're single player. You don't share a session with someone else and talk to them. So I want to change that. I mean, I'm a multiplayer. It's a PartyKit product anyway.
Yeah.
But not only should it be voice, but you can imagine then having an AI agent join a meeting. Not just as a meeting note taker, which by the way, again, shout out to Granola. You changed my life, bro. Like, thanks, Chris.
In London as well.
Best £6 I spend a month. I got it when they were doing the discount in December.
Oh, really?
Yeah, £6 a month. But I get way more value from it. It's a joke. They're probably losing money on me right now. Point being, like, it's not going. You can, and I suspect they are also thinking about it in this way. It's not just a note taker. It's something that can collaborate with you. It can like correct you. You can talk to it while you're in a meeting and doing other things. Just like you would automate like your email stuff with it.
Yeah.
So I think we will put video, audio as a story for AI agents like soon enough.
Yeah, I think that makes
sense. Just makes sense.
Yeah, I feel like it's a matter of time before ChatGPT also has like
I bet.
Like,
I already use that advanced voice mode, and that's amazing.
So good.
It's so fun.
So good.
My favorite thing to do with it is, in fact, I was doing it while I was walking here, is, hey, ChatGPT, I'm bored. Can you teach me something new? So today it started telling me about synesthesia, people who can see colors and music.
Yeah.
And I've always known what synesthesia is, but ChatGPT is like, you should check out the work of this artist. Jimi Hendrix was known to have synesthesia.
Really?
Yeah. I think John Mayer as well. Like famous people with synesthesia. I was like, okay, cool, man. I love advanced voice mode with ChatGPT.
Yeah. So AI agents is gonna happen for beyond the hype. It's just boring. Lots of boring things need to get done. And Cloudflare is like, you think durable objects is like the ideal mechanism there because
it's a magical unlock. It's the reason that I know it's going to be a big thing is because I know it's going to be a big thing for boring use cases. That's why I like React was cool, not just because you could build crazy UIs, but because you could see every 9 to 5 developer using React.
Yeah.
That's what's going to be like. That's why AI agents are going to do well.
What do you think, if you're like a DevTools founder listening here, and Cloudflare is going to do a lot of this stuff? What do you think are the things that people should be building?
Oh my God. You just pick any vertical. In fact, pick a normie vertical. Like if I was like after having done the startup journey, I don't think I'd ever build, I've told myself.
No more DevTools.
Well, nothing with a public facing API. Because
JavaScript. You can't say that on Scaling DevTools.
Well, no, my point being that, and I say this with love and considering myself one of the community, JavaScript developers are cheap as hell. They refuse to pay for anything. They have the highest of expectations. Because, dude, like even like the documentation pages are beautifully designed for like JavaScript libraries.
Yeah.
Like they're so entitled. It's amazing. Don't get me wrong. Like it means all our stuff is like actually quite good, which is crazy because 20 years ago it was considered a toy language. Point being, though, but if I had to build something today, I would pick a normie vertical. I would go for healthcare, hospitality, and I would build like AI agents in that space. That would be, I don't want to say a money machine because who knows, and there are so many people trying right now, but it would definitely be interesting. Like there's so much to uncover and like redo. Compliance work, customer support, of course, they're throwing it at it. The other day I was in Cambridge and I called up the Ivy, which is like one of my favorite restaurants, because they have those thin zucchini fries. It's delicious.
Okay.
And they have a pea soup that I think is amazing.
Pea soup can be very good.
Point being, I called up to make a reservation, and look, I've always encountered voice agents. Like HMRC has a voice agent right now. They're like, please tell your reference number, and you have to say it really slowly, otherwise it doesn't get it. No, the Ivy was my first encounter with a voice agent that was good. Fantastic. Yeah. I was like, hey, do you allow pets here? Sorry, sir, we don't allow pets. It identified itself as AI in the beginning, by the way. But it was like clear, fluent, no like long waits. No, we don't allow pets here in this location. What time are you open until so and so? Yeah, we're open today. We're open until 3:30 today because we have a private event happening in the evening. I was like, bro, like this is like sci-fi. Like I didn't expect it would go mainstream so soon. And then I was like, I would have liked to have built this for them. Yeah. So that's what I would do. Like I would just take like use cases, ping 3.1, that's me on Twitter, by the way, like say, hey, like I'm interested in this use case. Can you help me out with it? I'll be like, yeah, here's your docs. Here's the starter kit. Here's the thing. What else can we build for you? Oh, we have the real-time thing. If you want, we can hook you up. Yeah. And if we don't have something, let us know. Like we'll build it for you. I would kind of go after that. Even in the DevTools space. Okay, here's another thing. There is an opportunity in the DevTools space to actually start thinking about what AI native DevTools are. I'll give you a simple example. Take a JavaScript framework or library. If I was building React today, this is not to say I'm capable of building React. That code base is crazy. And I say this as someone who spent a year on that team. Not only would I be building out the library and the API, I would be building out a one-pager thing that you can dump into cursor rules so that cursor understands it immediately. My docs page, I would obviously power with a vector DB so that you can ask it like semantic search. Hey, how do I build this? Well, here are 4 docs pages. I would probably try to ship a coding agent small version that spits out good, or at least give you a prompt, etc. Like, point being, you have the capability of building actually magical dev tools right now. And it's actually strange to me, not a lot of them are doing it just yet. Especially people who want to innovate or want to build like something new. And I said this for like the stupidest example, right? Like JavaScript fatigue is a real thing. There are like 200,000 JavaScript libraries out there for everything. But if you take a step back, how would you build it in 2025? There's like a new way of thinking about these experiences for developers, etc. Of course, I would ship a remote MCP for my JavaScript framework. Of course I would. Why wouldn't I? It's so easy. I'll host it on Cloudflare. They don't know how to make money. It'll be cheap as shit. So in the DevTools space, I think I would definitely like take a step back and play the long game. Like if you're trying to make moves to capture people within the next 1 month, it might work, but the next news cycle will steal that away from you anyway. What you want to do is have like the moonshot where you're like, okay, I know that in 6 to 12 months, the models are going to be a lot better. Like GPT-5 is going to be released. It's out there. What that means is that function calling is going to get way more reliable. Audio video solutions are going to be like way more powerful. Pricing on model inference is going to zero. Like it's still it's not that expensive. You know, at this point, like it's worth the value. There are people who spend like $20 in a day on Claude code, and it spits out like 6,000 lines of code. They're like, damn, $20 is a lot. I'm like, bro, that's three beers at a London pub. Like you're blowing through that this evening. Actually, I don't. I've been in Newcastle for so long. Are beers still £6? I imagine.
I think it's more. I think it's more like 7.
Oh
7,
my
8.
God, terrible. See, I live in a uni town now where I can get a pint for $3.54 at the place like right next door.
Yeah, Newcastle.
I love living in uni towns. I mean, don't get me wrong, all the kids are annoying and they elbow you like at the pub, but otherwise, like I enjoy myself. No, if I would absolutely look at verticals right now. I would not try to build a tool that is broad. Why would I? Like model companies and infrastructure companies are trying very hard to be in that space. But model companies and infrastructure companies want people building vertical solutions to build on them. Oh my, I would just go after that. I would absolutely pick something that you're passionate about. Musicians, arts, a new kind of social network for your friends and family. The thing that I want to build next is a mobile app just for a single family. As an AI agent that you can chuck your grocery list into, reminders to pick someone up from school, that listens to your emails, etc., etc. Who has built this is the time to build the family app. Like, hey, this is my family app. That's sorry. A very long way of answering this question is
build stuff with agents.
Just build a consumer product, bro, or like even a developer product, but make sure you're more focused instead of trying to be like super broad.
Doing everything. Yeah, that's super cool. We're coming towards the end, but I wanted to ask about PartyKit as well. And so we did touch on it. And I think you've hinted a bit, but tell us about why you joined Cloudflare.
So my journey with PartyKit was I had just shipped Wrangler version 2, the rewrite from Rust to TypeScript. And it had gone like really well. It was backwards compatible. I did a major version rewrite in a different language and it was backwards compatible.
And Wrangler is what helps you deploy the
Exactly. It's the developer CLI. It lets you run code locally on your machine and it lets you deploy onto the platform. And it has like a whole bunch of command line tools for doing things with Cloudflare.
Super cool.
So provision a database, tail logs for this particular website. Just show me all the logs that are happening, filtered by so-and-so key. Anyway, so I'd just done that. So things were going really well for me in Cloudflare. And I put a meeting on my manager's calendar. I was like, oh, bro, like I'm putting in my papers. And he's like, what? I'm like, yeah, I just kind of like, I have like I was turning 39 that year. I had like just a couple more years where I thought I could make like a big shot startup type thing. I had just gotten ILR in the UK, which meant I didn't need a visa sponsor.
Nice.
I was like, dude, I've worked for other people forever.
Yeah.
And they're like, what can we do to keep you? Because nothing is wrong. It's not like you're pissed at anyone. I was like, no, I got to like really do this.
I'll spread my wings.
Yeah. I didn't even think I was going to do a startup. I thought I was going to do a consulting thing.
Yeah.
And my first consulting gig was with TLDraw, with our friend
Shout
Steve.
out, TLDraw.
Yeah. Steve's my guy, dude. One of my favorite people in the UK is an American. He's from Chicago. Like, it really annoys me. I need more actual British friends.
Yeah.
But I love him. And he was just like a 2-person company at the time, couple of contractors he was working with. And he was trying to solve multiplayer. Like, how do you do synchronizing of a collaborative drawing board across screens? And how do you do it so that it doesn't break the bank? I was like, I know durable objects. Let me help you with this. And I thought it would be like a 3-month, 4-month project. And I remember the timeline exactly. Within, to be clear, like there were, David was there. There were a couple of other people who built the actual like synchronization code. I was just there showing them how to deploy it onto Cloudflare. Within like a week and a half, we had our first prototype and it worked great. And we actually demoed it at one of the first Future of Code sessions.
Maggie.
Yeah, that was our first big test, by the way. 30 people in a room on the same TL draw board. We were so worried it was going to fail. It went wonderfully well. Shout out Maggie also for being just one of the most special parts of the London tech community.
Need to interview Maggie.
You absolutely should get Maggie on here. She's the best. So within a week and a half, we had a prototype. Within 6 weeks, it was production ready. It was like done, like it was like solved, and it was amazing. That's when I decided, okay, so the move here is to take this and get it into more people's hands. I need to form like a company platform around it. I raised a round. It went like really well. I did Sequoia Arc and all of those things. Nice. It got a whole bunch of traction. People loved using it. Just couldn't figure out how to make money with the damn thing, dude. It's impossible. Well, it would have been many years of building something way more vertical. And I think I was more interested in the accessibility like story, like I said, like making this accessible to developers, etc. So it, like I said, like the numbers were good, still had a bunch of money in the bank, but like Cloudflare reached out and said, well, you've been doing a good job telling the story. Do you want to just come back to Cloudflare?
Come back home.
Yeah. We call ourselves boomerangs in Cloudflare. There are many of us inside Cloudflare, which is, we work in Cloudflare for a while, we go out, part of it works, part of it doesn't, and then we just come back and like continue our career like
That's
inside
so
it.
funny.
Or like, and the best people, which is why like, and it's good because you come back with big startup energy to do things well. And so I got acquired a year, almost exactly a year to the day.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and the PartyKit code is what powers AI agents now. It just magically turned out that I'd solved a bunch of like the low-level problems to build a new thing. I think we were talking about that. Cloudflare is very, very good at the micro acquisition, the tiny finding. I don't mean to call myself cracked. I'm in my 40s. I don't use that to talk about people. I don't understand young kids.
I have heard you say it already, to be clear.
I embarrass myself by saying it. Point being, they know how to, instead of looking for the bigger acquisition, like I said, they play the long game, right? They're like, okay, fine, we are interested in the space, we want to accelerate. These few people, two teams of like 2, maybe 5 people look very interesting in the space, and they're usually already building on Cloudflare. Just reach out to them, say, continue the journey inside Cloudflare. You don't have to worry about enterprise sales. We give you the impact, etc. So at PartyKit is like that. Baseline, shout out to Boris, Thomas, and Maxim, also some of my favorite people. We announced another acquisition yesterday, Outerbase, which is 2 people from Pittsburgh, of all places.
Wow.
Love them. They're great. They're database. They're intersection of database and UI nerds, which is why they have the most beautiful UIs for databases.
Super cool.
Yeah. We are like really, Cloudflare is really good at the small acquisition, and suddenly it means you're surrounded by all these people with the startup energy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I love it.
You got so many good people. There's like Matt Boyle, Max Rosen.
Just the best. Yeah, Max Rosen, I was telling you, like he's my referral into Cloudflare.
So cool.
I'm a big fan of Max Rosen. There's nobody who ships daily for years.
He's so
like
modest
Max
as well.
Rosen.
You know how many times I've asked him, can I interview him? And he's just like,
He says no.
He's like, oh, I don't think I've got anything worthy of saying. I'm like, dude, like,
I love it. I love him.
so,
I love him.
His everyone should subscribe to his newsletter. It's honestly like probably, I don't know, like one of the best DevTools, like honesty newsletters, because he just talks about the stuff that he's learned. Just super cool.
I love Max Rosen.
Yeah, and he just works at Cloudflare.
I'm telling you, like the best thing about working in Cloudflare is, so when we say we love the engineering culture at Cloudflare, it's because of this dude. Like we are online, you know us, like we are so online. It's a problem, to be honest, how much we are on Twitter. Like everyone's on Twitter. Our CTO is a Twitter nerd, dude. Like he'll be sending me like 4 tweets through the day. He'll send me an email saying like, help out this customer and stuff. always there. We're well connected. So
very cool.
internally, we are like, hey, like whose life do we make better today? That's what I think we mean by like engineering culture.
Yeah.
There are other ways of looking at culture, but I like Cloudflare because it's fun. It's like so nice to work inside there.
Yeah.
Dude, this is the second time I'm working in the company. Like I better like it.
Damn, that's very cool. Okay, I think we're at the time, so let's wrap up. Thank you so much, Sunil. That was
Thank
super
you
fun.
so much
Thank
for
you
having
coming
me on.
Finally.
I just did a whole brain dump on you. I'm so grateful. This has been like in the works for a while and then I disappeared. Thank you so much. I'm so happy I got to do this.
Amazing.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.